What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda where, look, we're all Danish tonight, aren't we? Let's be honest. We're all a bit of Denmark tonight. Wow. So happy for the Danish fans right now. What a night that was. Belgium got their win, which meant if Denmark could score and win by 2 clear goals, they would finish second in the group. They did that. They dismantled Russia by 4-1. The Danes are through to face Wales in the last 16, and what an interesting, emotional tie that is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? Who's not feeling the love for Denmark right now? I mean, look, we'll deal with the Wales game in the future. We all love the Welsh as well. Of course we do. But tonight, there is justice in the world, folks. I won't lie to you, good people. I shed a couple of tears. I did. I mean, I was covering that game over on That's Football, the Danish game where Christian Eriksen unfortunately fell ill. And yeah, I'm so happy for them. I really am so happy for all the Danish people out there. We're all Danish tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But look, we've got Liverpool business to get through. We've loads of stuff to talk about tonight. Do you think we could get Damagard from Denmark? Look, I don't do reactive stuff. I'm not somebody that thinks Liverpool will go out and sign players because they went and had a good Euros or whatever. Let's just enjoy the footy and talk about players that are, more than likely linked to Liverpool in a realistic way. Did you guys hear Daka was waiting for LFC to bid but never did? Right, that's a good point to start. Let's talk about Daka. Let's start off with Daka tonight. So, as you can see, Patson Daka, he is going to become a Leicester City player. Now, there were a couple of trains of thought on this one. And look, I started off with this because I know as the chat goes on, people want to talk about other players. But I just want to clear up the whole stuff on Patson Daka. It looks like one of two things has happened. Either Liverpool bid and he didn't think he'd get enough game time at Liverpool, or Liverpool didn't bid and he was hanging around waiting for a bid that wasn't forthcoming. I don't know what the actual truth is there, but what we do know is he's going to become a Leicester City player, and they're going to pay, I think, somewhere in the region of low 20 million, something like that, 23, 24 million maybe, something along those lines. So look, for me, it was a bit of a disappointment that we didn't go in for Patson Daka, but as I said to you at the time, great bit of business for Leicester, don't get me wrong. I'm very fond of Leicester City, but I think if we didn't get him, it's because we had other plans in mind and we had other targets in mind. So he is off to Leicester City. That'll be done and dusted soon enough. So that's one name that we can take off the list of players for Liverpool. So Patson Daka, not going to happen. So we removed Daka here from the list. There you go. Bye Patson. Don't have a clue who Daka is, says Sonny. He's a guy who played for Salzburg, mate, and has scored a lot of goals. I think 31 goals or something in the Austria Bundesliga last season. And he was available for a realistically low amount of money. So you could see why a lot of us were putting 2 and 2 together there and coming up with, well, what turns out to be 7. So yeah, he's going to be a Leicester City player. But we still have targets, and it looks like the latest target and the latest name link seems to be, where is he? This gentleman right here, Donyell Malen. Now, there are a couple of things around Donyell Malen as well. Some outlets are reporting that he's seen as a long-term Roberto Firmino replacement at Liverpool, which you can see. You can clearly see why he's that type of player. I learned something about Donyell Malen today that I have to admit I did not know until Connor sent me the message earlier on. Did you guys know that he used to play for Arsenal? Yes, he did used to play for Arsenal. I was sent an image of him playing in an Arsenal shirt. I don't remember it. I don't remember the young lad being at Arsenal, but there you go. So Donyell Malen, PSV Eindhoven player, played for the Dutch national team in the Euros as well, or is playing, I should say, for the Dutch national team in the Euros. And it's rumoured that his price tag is around £25 million, or it's 25 million. I don't know if it's pound or euro. That's the figure that I've been told is the amount that would get him at a PSV Eindhoven. Now, I like the idea of bringing him in as a long-term Bobby Firmino replacement, with him still being a Liverpool player, not moving Bobby Firmino on, meaning we get another addition, we get to keep Bobby for another year or two, and Marlon gets to learn the way our squad works. So when I say long-term successor, I don't mean that Firmino's going anywhere this summer, because I honestly believe Bobby's going nowhere this summer. But we do have to look to the future, and if the right opportunity presents itself at the right time, which maybe this is, I still don't know. but I can understand it. It's one of those that I can put in the column of this is a Liverpool type of signing that I can understand. Because let's be honest about it, Donyell Malen, you can see how he would fit into Liverpool's setup. I could have absolutely seen how Daka did it as well, and just as much I could see how a few other forwards we've been linked with could. Isaac is the one that I've really struggled with because mainly I don't know all that much about him, but the €70 million buyout clause was the thing that really rang alarm bells in my head. And the fact that Sociedad wanted him to sign a new contract before the Euros, increasing that buyout clause, and you can see why I never believed Liverpool were going to be in there around that type of price point. Ella, how are you? Nice to see you in the chat. Craig, I'm buzzing. Bows just beat Rovers 1-0. Keep the run, Bows going. Bows could win the league. Delighted for you, Ella. I did see that the Dublin Derby was on there tonight. I didn't see the score, but Bows won 1-0. That's a massive victory against Rovers. Arsenal decided to keep Nketiah and sell Malen to Ajax. Ajax or Eindhoven? Maybe he moved from Ajax to Eindhoven. But either way, yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't know. I didn't know at all that he was an Arsenal player. You do honestly learn something new every day. Maddie said, what a show it was earlier. Thank you, buddy. I can only assume that you're talking about the watch along and that's football, which was loads of fun. So thank you to everyone that came over and joined me for that one. I'll be live on Anfield Agenda tomorrow night covering the England game against the Czech Republic. Obviously, a couple of England players now have to self-isolate after hugging Billy Gilmore after the game. So yeah, there you go. I mean, so Donyell Malen. Let's have a little more conversation around Donyell Malen. Would you guys be happy with Marlin at 25 million to come in? Again, to me, fits the profile. Really, really does fit the profile. Hi Craig, how are you? I'm good, Ben. I'm really, really good. I'm even happier now that Denmark have qualified. And what a mouth-watering tie that is, by the way. Denmark against Wales. That's going to be a humdinger of a game. It really is. Right, so a couple of things around fullbacks that I want to get to a little bit further on in tonight's stream as well. I want to talk a little bit more about the European Super League and some accusations that have been made around that. I think he'd fit in nicely, said PC Drat. Yes, said Linda Cummings. 25 mil is a bargain, said Oscar Murphy. How good is Malen in your opinion, said Yashir, and thank you, or Yasir, excuse me, and thank you for the super chat, buddy. Right. Firstly, before I answer your question, buddy, and I will, don't forget, ladies and gents, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and keep your comments coming. Right, how good is Malen? The honest answer is, I don't want to get carried away, but as I said to you guys the very first time I watched any of them, immediately I can see the appeal. He's got that pace, he's got the work ethic, and I think he would press like there's no tomorrow, which you need to be a Liverpool player. We defend from the front. Bobby Firmino starts the press. So if he's going to be brought in as a Bobby Firmino-esque replacement, you can imagine he's going to have bundles of energy. But we do also need somebody to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what this kid is capable of as well. Had a very good season of PSV Eindhoven. Yes, sometimes it's often difficult to judge people in the Eredivisie against their form in the Premier League, but look, at that type of price, to me, I think it may be worth a punt. Now, this isn't me telling you we're signing Donyell Malen. No, I just do what I always do. Go with the paper talk. We have a conversation around it and see how you all feel. Ryan said he'd be delighted if we signed him. Haven't seen a lot of Malen play, but he sounds quite good, said Jack. Agent Gilmore, said Brian Morrissey. I'm saying nothing, mate. I'm saying nothing, honestly. Well, maybe I'll say a little something, Brian. Maybe just a little something. What I would say is, this may lead to Jack Grealish actually getting a chance to play for England and showing how to supply Kane with some service, because it looks like Kane is undroppable for England right now. And the likes of Grealish and that would probably give him better service. So it's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow, the England game against the Czech Republic. I'll be doing a watch along of it from 7:30 here on Anfield Agenda. So I hope that you will join me for that one, even though I know you're going to have lots of options out there. Bring him home. Come on, Liverpool, said Stankermum. Stankermum or Stankermum? I'm trying to figure out what that's meant to be. Good evening from South Africa. How are we, Shakwar? Nice to see you in the chat. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Right, so we moved on from Malen. We go on to the next one. It's his agent that scares me. Yes, from what I believe, and I guess this is what you're getting at here, Maddie Mael Mucker. I said Mucker, by the way. I did not slag you off. I meant friend. Isn't he represented by Mina Raiola, Donyell Malen? If he is, I'm not saying we won't do business with Mina Raiola, but Mina Raiola likes his lump of fat, shall we say, when he's doing any transfers. He likes to make a few bob. And then there's the big news of the day around the Premier League, which is, of course, Manchester City's official bid for Harry Kane of £100 million. There is a couple of options of players involved in that. I think Sterling, Silva, Gabriel Jesus, maybe players that Manchester City are willing to offload. Don't know if Spurs or Daniel Levy have any interest in that, and I also don't know if the players themselves that have been mentioned, like Sterling or Gabriel Jesus, would fancy going to Spurs. I mean, it's easy for us to just think that they're, surplus to requirements at clubs, but they're human beings with families that have decisions to make as well. You're watching live from Wembley tomorrow, said Bob's Amcott. Nice one. Very jealous, mate. I can't wait to get back to some live football. Daka turned down one of the best teams in the world, said B1. It gets, again, I don't know the real story of Patson Daka. Either we weren't in for him and he went to Leicester, or we were in for him and he doesn't feel that he could get a starting place in the team. In which case, that's not the type of player we need. And I don't mean to run Daka down, because I still stand over the fact that I think he'll be a success at Leicester. I think he'll be a very good player. But I've said to you guys over and over again, it takes a big personality to look at Mohamed Salah, Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane and Diogo Jota and go, yeah, I can make my way there. I can force my way into that starting 11 and I can become a regular in that Liverpool team. It takes somebody with serious self-belief to be able to do that. Diogo Jota looked at the situation and backed himself, and look, that's turned out rather well. So whoever we do bring in, they're going to have tremendous self-belief, and they're going to have to work really, really hard. But look, what this does is it gives everybody a bit of a worry, doesn't it? It lets everybody look over the shoulder with regards to the attacking players we have at the club. And yes, Shaqiri may be moved on, and yes, Origi may be moved on, but we do need to add a few more players in. Danish guy said 7-2. And? What's your point, mate? We lost a game of football and you're 6 months later still going on about it like some fucking weird stalker. Whatever, mate. 7-2, we lost a game of football. We still managed to get into the top 3. That 7-2 game probably gave me a career in this industry, so I really don't know what your problem is, bitch. We're all here loving Denmark and you're in here giving a Billy Big bollocks. You've got 2 choices here, mate. You apologise or you'll get the fuck kicked out of the chat. One or the other. Either way, I couldn't give a shit which one you choose. Right, congratulations on 110,000, mate. Fully deserved. So happy for you. Thank you. Dara Azizi, how are you, mate? Lovely to see you in the chat. Nah, don't sign Malen. His agent is Raiola. I know, and it hurts me to think of Liverpool giving me Raiola any more money. It really does annoy me. But I don't want it to be, at the expense of missing out on a potentially good player. And I don't know what his fee would be, because let's say the 25 million is true for Donyell Malen, and let's say that's what we end up paying. Well, I've no idea how much of that Mino Raiola would get his greasy mitts on. So, yeah, we have paid a lot of agents fees over the last few years. By the way, I mean, one of the highest paying clubs to agents. I haven't got the exact figure. Are you still leaving? No. I mean, I've made it really clear for months now, Dan. I think it was Mother's Day when my wife turned around to me and said, you're not leaving. Stay. I believe in you. You will make this a career. And I backed myself and she backed me. So no, absolutely not going anywhere. Now, what might happen if I do take up a role on That's Football throughout the Premier League campaign, and look, I am talking with Mark and the lads about it, it will probably mean that we rejig Mundo Sporto a little bit. And it'll probably become my own personal channel. So basically just for me to ramble on about whatever I want to talk about, or whatever topics I find funny or intriguing and stuff like that. So I need your help. If you're watching this later on and you have a good name that you think would work for me, for my channel, let me know. It has to have the word Craig in it, and I don't want the word Holden in it. So any name with the word Craig in it, if I use the name that you suggest in the comments, I will send a 50 quid Amazon voucher your way for the first person that puts the post in with the name, if I use it. That's my way of saying thank you, and my way of appreciating what you guys do as well. Right, lots more to keep going about. So, I did say to you that there was a little bit of moaning about the Super League. Well, this gentleman here, Juan Laporta, has hit back out and said that it was actually Liverpool and Manchester United who instigated the European Super League. And you know what? That kind of doesn't surprise me, and I don't know if it's true or if it's not true. If you don't know who Juan Laporta is, he's the Barcelona president. I don't know if it's true or not true, because it wouldn't surprise me that John W. Henry, the Glazers, and maybe the likes of Kroenke put their heads together as American sports team owners and went, yeah, this idea of guaranteed qualification every year, lots of money over and over and over again, I don't know if it's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. But Barcelona aren't letting go of it, Real Madrid aren't letting go of it, and so far Juventus aren't letting go of the Super League. So Juan Laporta has had his say. I don't know if it's true or not true, but if it is true, are any of us really surprised that our owners would have been at the very forefront of it? Because I have to say, I'm not at all surprised what Mr. Laporta had to say there. So there you go. The world of Craig. No, I don't want you to put into this chat now. I mean, comment later on the video. In your opinion, who would you say is the greatest central defensive midfielder ever? God, that's such a horrible question. Because do you go with like a Regista type player, like a Xavi Alonso? Do you look at a Pirlo? I mean, if you go back even further, it's an impossible question to answer. It really is. Craig's football rants. Oh, no way we'd be calling it that, Bernadette. No. I know you probably don't understand why that name would be unusable for me, Bernadette, but it would. Let's just say that. Fabinho, said SDB. Well, look, we're blessed to have Fabinho. Essien? Nah. Essien wouldn't be up there for me. He's a very good player, but not in the best of all time. First Aid Craig. That definitely wouldn't be a good name. What have we got? Dara O'Brien football chat. It won't be football related, so there is that as well. Craig's List. I think somebody might have that already. I'm not sure. The name Craig's List sounds a little bit familiar. Right, we keep moving on. Neuhaus. The most likely midfielder to come to Liverpool is Neuhaus, from what we've been told. Basuma is another option that's still been doing the rounds, but I did tell you guys yesterday that the guy from Bild, the chief reporter from Bild, has apparently spoken to the new Borussia Mönchengladbach manager about Neuhaus and the potential links of him to Liverpool and moving on. And the manager of Mönchengladbach has apparently put across to him that he believes that he'll stay for another season at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, does that lead into him perhaps joining Bayern Munich a year down the line, like was reported when our initial interest in Neuhaus was put out there? The player himself has said that no agreement is in place to join Bayern Munich, but if the Borussia Mönchengladbach manager is that confident of keeping him for another year, it does raise the question. Now, it's one thing him saying that, because he's hardly going to go, yeah, get rid of him, sure, sell him, because then his price will go down, clubs will come and negotiate. But it does seem the most likely player from all the ones that we've seen linked. The feedback from journalists around the player looks really good. Obviously, we haven't been able to gauge him at the Euros with Germany because he hasn't gotten, I don't even know if he's had any minutes, but certainly not many. So, Neuhaus, it's interesting. But it makes sense. Again, right profile, German, so Klopp would have no shortage of scouts having looked over the player. And if Bayern Munich are interested in him, there's got to be something about the guy, because usually Bayern Munich are used to just going in and poaching all the best talent, aren't they? All the best German talent from any other team in the league. So maybe if you're a Borussia Mönchengladbach, and I've said this before about the likes of Dortmund and that as well, well, it probably makes more sense to sell him to an English team. It would be like us having a choice to sell a player to Chelsea or selling a player to, let's say, PSG. You're obviously going to prefer moving the player out of the league because less chance of the player coming back to haunt you. Or at least that's the way I think about it anyway. So Neuhaus is, it's an interesting one. Certainly the most likely, as I've said, of all the midfielders we've been linked with, and the right type of profile. So again, one to keep an eye on, but not one that I'm saying is definitely going to happen yet. I see a few people talking about Doku. Don't worry, I will get on to Jeremy Doku in a couple of moments' time. Cooper Myers or Gravenberch is a shout. Gravenberch, a tremendous talent. 18 years old if my memory's right. Still playing with Ajax, and definitely a tremendous talent. But would you go get Gravenberch, or would you hang on and maybe put your eggs in the double choo-choo, hey Jude, next summer? Because that's where I'd be. I'd be going all in for Jude Bellingham next summer. Malen I've already spoken about, Adam. You're a little late to that one, buddy, but what I can say about Malen is apparently the price is 25 million, and the more I see of him, the more I think he's the most likely that Klopp would lean towards, because if you're to believe paper talk, he's been seen as a long-term replacement for Bobby Firmino. Now that doesn't mean if he comes in Bobby Firmino's off. It could take a year or two. Maybe he could learn from Bobby Firmino. Maybe Firmino could help bring him through. So, you know, exciting links, the right type of price point that we would expect from our owners. 25 million seems about the right type of amount of money that we'd pay. Whereas Isaac at €70 million buyout clause just never really seemed realistic to me. Right, let's get on to Jeremy Doku. So Jeremy Doku is this gentleman here. You probably watched him playing tonight for Belgium. Very, very pacey, very fast, very direct. Was looked at and has been looked at from Liverpool for a long time. I think he was shown around Anfield and Melwood when he was 16, but decided to go back and play in his native Belgium, I think, with Anderlecht before he moved on to Rouen in France. I don't know this to be true, but people have said that his whole family are big Liverpool fans. Great, if that's the case, that certainly adds a lot of help to the lads trying to recruit him. I think he's 19 years of age right now, so again, the right type of profile, but somebody who could come in and maybe he could be the future. Him on one wing, Harvey Elliott on the other wing. You know, you can see 3 years down the line how this could develop. So, interesting one. I have no idea what the price would be for Jeremy Doku. Maybe somebody in the chat would know or has seen it on social media or in an article somewhere. I've got to be honest, I've been playing a lot of catch up lately because I've just been rolling into one stream into another at this point. But I thought, like Jimmy says in the chat there, I thought Doku was excellent tonight. Obviously not the finished article, as you wouldn't expect any 19-year-old to be. But again, has all the raw ingredients that you know could electrify defences. And I'm a sucker for anybody who gets the ball down and runs at a fullback. And this kid certainly looks... You know, I have to say I was sleeping on him a little bit until I watched him tonight. And after watching him tonight, I absolutely understand what all the fuss is about. He looks legit. The links go a long way back, right the way back to when he was 16. So... I'd say keep an eye on this situation because I don't know how much it would take to get him out of Rouen in France. 30 mil, Henry Jones is saying. But look, if it is that price, again, right type of price point for our owners, right type of profile for us as well. A young, hungry player who could develop into something special. And imagine having him and Harvey Elliott and still having Salah and Mane and all these attacking options, direct running options. And that's before we even get to the fullback situation, which we have to talk about as well, because there's been a lot of talk around Liverpool full-backs over the last couple of days. And I will get into that in a couple of minutes, but just want to stay on the Doku attacking end of the pitch for a minute. I would be very happy if we finish this transfer window with Donyell Malen, Jeremy Doku, and Ibrahima Konate. And then maybe a midfielder. But I could also understand not rolling the dice on a midfielder if the plan was to go big for Jude Bellingham next summer. Because we do have Henderson, Milner, Thiago, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, what are the central midfielders? Keita. I mean, they're 6 and we only play with 2. So Chamberlain, if you want to include him as a central midfielder. So there's plenty of options there. So if we're only going to play a double pivot in centre midfield, if we go to like a 4-2-3-1 formation, then we could probably cope with what we have. I know Keita's going to pick up some injuries. Hendo probably has some injuries as well. You've got James Milner to come in there, Thiago to come in there. And I did say Oxlade-Chamberlain a few minutes ago, and I will be mentioning Oxlade-Chamberlain again in a different position in a couple of minutes' time. What have we got? Big guy Craig. Thank you, I think. I don't know if you're calling me chunky or if you just mean like... Is that in a positive way? I'd like to think it's positive. Craig, what's up with you, buddy? I'm flying, Keno. I'm really happy. I'm over the moon for Denmark. Delighted that they got that result tonight that sees them through. Doku this summer, Jude next summer sounds perfect for Master Who, and I have to agree with you. Or Master Wu, excuse me. I would love that. I mean, I'm guilty of telling you guys, I'm guilty of doing exactly what I tell you guys not to do, which is go full on match of the day, see a player and then go, yeah. Because I would love Doku after seeing him tonight, and I do see what the fuss is about. I've been open and honest and say I don't watch too much French football, watch a little bit of PSG, a little bit of Lyon, the odd bit of Marseille, but don't really watch too much of Rouen. I've seen bits and pieces of Lille, but, you know, when you're being linked with the likes of this guy going back till he was 16... Yeah, I think there's probably something to it. Now, that doesn't mean it'll necessarily translate into a bid, but, you know, he certainly looks a bright talent. And if Liverpool have an interest, I think this is probably going to be the summer to act on it because, you know, he's going to have alerted even more clubs around Europe now to what the talent he is. Right, Yasir said, who would win in a race in your opinion, Mbappe or Usain Bolt? Depends how long the race is. It genuinely depends how long the race is. You'd guess Usain Bolt, obviously, but, you know, over certain distances, it depends who was the faster start, really. Right, so let's get rid of Doku there for a second. And let me just delete that so I don't bring it back up again. I've done Daka already. I can delete that one. I've done Juan Laporta. I can delete that one. Right, a couple more. I've done Donyell Malen. We can delete that one. Neuhaus. I can delete that one. Sorry, I'm just talking out loud as I'm doing stuff here. What have we got? Right, so the big situation that's come around today revolves around Neco Williams. Now, everything that I'd read and been told suggested that Neco Williams was going to be Trent's backup coming into this season, but there are stories starting to come out today that maybe he will want a move away from Liverpool in search of first team football. Obviously he's playing well for Wales and a very good Welsh team there at the Euros, and the spotlight has been shone on him a little bit. And the other day we've heard that maybe Costas Tsimikas could move on. That would leave us really, really stuck. Now, I know Conor Bradley is really highly thought of at underage level at Liverpool, but again, it's putting a lot of pressure on somebody to come in and be back up to one of the best attacking right backs in world football in Trent. So I was kind of confident with Neco there. I thought Neco showed all the attributes that he could go on and be a very good challenger to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if we do sell him, surely we're not going to sell Tsimikas as well. And this leads me on to what I said when I touched on that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will be mentioned in a different position. This isn't me saying this, but I have read a few interesting pieces and threads on Twitter around the idea of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain potentially being used as a right wing back if Trent isn't available. Regular viewers of the show or regular viewers of Premier League football will probably remember that he'd been used in that role at Arsenal occasionally, but not to the greatest of effect. It certainly, to me, doesn't get the best attributes out of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And it just seems like a whole load of trying to put square pegs into round holes to me if you're trying to make him fit into the system that way. Look, if we lose Neco Williams, in my opinion, you need to bring somebody else in, or you're that confident in Conor Bradley that he pushes his way through and then you have your backup. But either way, it's a lot of responsibility to put on young Conor Bradley's shoulders if that's the case. And the Costas Tsimikas stuff as well. You know, 1 minute we hear he's definitely staying, he's got up to speed, and then the next minute he's been linked with moves away. So yeah, it is interesting, and let me know what you guys think about that situation. And I've not seen any price around what Neco Williams might go for. Now, from what I've read, it's not that Liverpool so much want to move Neco Williams on. It's more that Neco Williams perhaps wants to go and get some first team football, which again, I've never ever will slag anybody off for wanting to play football. If a lad doesn't feel that he's going to get enough game time at Liverpool and wants to push on and move somewhere, just like Ryan Kent, like maybe Harry Wilson and that, I think nobody should stand in their way. They should get their wish because it's a short career, and if somebody comes in with a reasonable offer and he wants to move, the lad should move. That's my opinion. Do I want him to move? No. I like Neco Williams. I'd like him kept at the club. Bradley isn't ready, said Mick Wall. You missed my super chat, Craig, did I? Scroll back up 1 second. Brad, how are you? Said, hi bud, not been in the chat for a while, hope you're well, looking tanned. Oh, it's just me fucking around with the colour and the camera, mate, because when I was on That's Football earlier on, it was lighter in the daytime, so I haven't had a chance to alter the colour yet, so I'm not really tanned. But anyway, Genie is making FSG look silly for letting him go, miss him already. Mate, to say I'm fuming over Genie Wijnaldum's situation probably doesn't do it justice. You see Genie Wijnaldum again today for Holland. Bagged himself a couple of goals. Shown what a class act he is. And was somebody who wanted to stay at Liverpool Football Club. None of us can understand why he wasn't offered the 3-year contract that he wanted. Because, okay, he's 30 years of age. But he's a young 30, if you get what I mean. He's not an injury-riddled 30. He's a 30-year-old that has come in and always played, always been available, always had a smile on his face, looked like a great lad to have around the team. Should have given him the 3-year contract. I mean, he's going to join PSG, and he's going to make us all look foolish. He's going to make the owners look foolish, because he wanted to stay. He was on, I think, only about 70 grand a week at Liverpool, and maybe he wanted 130, something like that. He should have given it to him. Should have given it to him. And the story, I'm sure, will come out over the coming months as to exactly what really happened, but I'm still scratching my head as to why we didn't give Genie the contract. He's just missed their consistency. Stephen, thank you so much, mate. $27.99 super chat. Wow, thank you, mate. Wouldn't let me super chat the other day on the YouTube account. Just wanted to say so much love. Hope you and the family are well. That is so generous of you, mate. Thank you. And yes, we are all really well. My wife turns 40 on Friday, so I'm going to spoil her rotten, as you would expect, because she deserves every single bit of it. And I'm looking forward to having the day off, to dedicating it entirely to the time with my wife. Her mum and dad are going to come down and look after the kids, so I can bring her shopping and spoil her rotten, because she deserves it. Putting up with me, anyone deserves it. But 40 is a big birthday, and I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for my wife. And I don't mean that from the sense of YouTube, I mean that from the sense of being alive. I don't think I'd be here without her, so I love her dearly. And I'm looking forward to spending some time with her alone on Friday. Jaden Big said subbed from Goldbridge. Brilliant, mate. Thank you for coming over. Really do appreciate the support and the reaction that I've received, or the love I've received over on That's Football. I'm very nervous doing these things on my own on a new platform like that. Anfield Agenda is my channel. It's Connor's channel. It's our community. We've built it up together. Our subscribers are amazing. I know this, and I'm confident every time I stream. But going on to That's Football, particularly doing the solo gigs, I tell you, I very rarely admit to being nervous, but very, very nervous. But, I mean, apart from a few people saying who's he or where's Mark, which you'd understand, that's completely normal, I've been very humbled and very appreciative of the love I've been shown, so thank you. This Irish dude just, still feels like I'm blagging it, and I'm grateful for every single minute, every bit of your support from everybody, every kind comment in the chat, every super chat, everyone that subscribes. I'm living the fucking dream, and I don't want it to end. I'm so at peace right now, and so happy for the first time I can remember as an adult. And you guys gave me this confidence, and you guys have lifted me up and hugged me when I've needed it. So big up all of you, because you know how much I love you and you know how much you all mean to me. So thank you for everything. And I'm not going anywhere, so even if I do take up a gig on That's Football, it'll be as well as Anfield Agenda, because Anfield Agenda is our home. Do I think you're a good dancer and singer? No, not at all, mate. I sing because I don't get embarrassed, not because I think I can sing. Dancer, I actually was a decent dancer in my younger days. I was involved in a dance group, for want of a better phrase. But yeah, look at me now. I'm a big chunky SOB. So no, I don't think I'm a good dancer and a good singer. But I also don't get embarrassed, so I do it for a little bit of fun. Loads of people saying happy birthday, thank you. Such a wholesome guy. I'm a City fan, but I usually watch. Thank you. I'm glad people can see past the occasional bit of bad language and that, because I actually tone down my bad language when I come onto YouTube, because at home I swear like a drunken sailor. It's every third word, but I always say that I think it's the intent of the language rather than the language itself that's important. But thank you for the kind words in the chat as always. And also, don't forget, if you want to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, there is a join button there. If you don't see it, you can click the link in the description of the stream. For your membership, it's $4.99 a month. You get use of loads of the custom emojis. You get the Anfield Agenda badge beside your name. Your name appears in green to me and other members. And you also get access to our members-only Discord chat, where you come in and get to argue with me offline and have a bit of fun. And watch out for Steve Boo, by the way, in there, because he's a fucking nut job, but he's a lovable nut job. Shout out to Steve and Emma. I hope you're both well. And of course there's Liz and there's Bernadette, who are like the mammies of the group that look out for us all in there as well. And so many other amazing people that are part of this amazing community that we do have. But anyway, back to the fullback scenario. I wouldn't feel comfortable selling Neco without bringing in another fullback. And I'm very confident that if we did sell Kostas Tsimikas, we'd bring in another fullback, which is what worries me a little bit around the Neco Williams stuff, because it kind of come out of nowhere. But I from his perspective, if it's him that's pushing it, I understand it. I really do understand it. The kid wants to go play football. Nothing wrong with that. He's an ambitious guy. And look, if you're looking ahead of you and seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold there, you do know that your game time is probably going to be rather limited. So yeah, I can understand it, but it would still be sad for me, because I do think he's developing quite nicely, Neco Williams. How much would Bellingham be, said Ross Gillen. I haven't allowed myself to think of that, because I'm afraid that if I do think of the price tag, I'll then convince myself that there's no chance of us going in for him, mate. But we keep being told that Liverpool have funds if a generational talent becomes available, and we were told that those were thrown into obscurity a little bit because of the impact of COVID. But the interesting scenario here is going to be what happens with Harry Kane. Will he go to Man City or will he go to Paris Saint-Germain? If he goes to Paris Saint-Germain, that's probably because they feel that they won't keep Kylian Mbappe. And if that's the case, where does Mbappe go? Will they let him run down his contract and he moves as a free agent? I highly doubt it, because they wouldn't see a penny from it. Or will he move somewhere else? I know Real Madrid badly want the guy, but has the prospect of him going to Real Madrid been dented after Zinedine Zidane left? Somebody who he admits is his idol and somebody who he looks up to. Obviously, a World Cup winner with France as well, Zinedine Zidane. So I don't know if that may affect any potential move to Real Madrid. On top of the fact, of course, that Real Madrid are financially struggling at the minute, and they are redoing the Santiago Bernabeu, and a whole lot of money is going into that as well. So, and they have a potential ban on the horizon from the Champions League for a couple of seasons, albeit UEFA's investigation has been paused for the time being around that one. Right, more comments. Yasir, thank you so much for the kind super chat. You deserve it, and your wife and Connor and all your kids. Best channel, thank you for all you've worked so hard. People deserve it. WFM to all of you. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what WFM means, you very soon will. WFM is our motto on here, and it means we're massive. And it doesn't mean me, it's not an ego thing. It just means when we come together, when we move in the same direction, nothing can stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. I want to go fully into that song, but I won't torture you all with it. Bellingham has 2 years left on his contract, and they are trying to get him to sign a new deal, by the way, Borussia Dortmund. And I don't know if that's because of the very reason that you've mentioned there, Master Wu, because he would only have a couple of years left, or if it's because they want to insert a higher buyout clause. Genuinely don't know. But it's interesting. Mbappe goes to Spurs in a swap deal. Imagine. Oh, imagine. Oh, God. No. No. I mean, even for Bantz, I couldn't think about that one. What do I think about Renato Sanchez? Again, Shay, I say Renato Sanchez is another type of player that I can look at and see why Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp would think there's an underappreciated player who broke through the scenes, was really great at Benfica, and was thought was going to go on to do great things, but has stalled a little bit, but has kind of reinvented himself at Lille, and looks like a quality player. So again, right age profile, right type of price point, I would imagine. Undervalued asset that Klopp probably thinks he could bring in and turn into a superstar. So I'm not sure if the links are true, but there have been some there, and it is a more realistic one than others that I've seen. Football always. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, the newest member to our family. Have a little look on the community tab of the YouTube channel, buddy, and you'll see the Discord link there. If you have any issues, just email me and I'll sort it out for you, no problem. Owen McPartland said, my dream is for Bellingham and Mbappe to play in the same Liverpool team, WFM. And thank you for the super chat, Owen. Yeah, I mean, I think we'd all have a specific type of dream if that was the case. I think you know where I'm going with this, Owen. But yeah, it would be amazing. But I just don't think we could afford his wages. Sorry I'm late. What is the news on Malen, said Tiny Hunter. Basically, mate, it's that some articles are doing the round that suggest that he's been looked at as a long-term replacement for Bobby Firmino, and that Liverpool could indeed act this summer to try and sign him from PSV Eindhoven. Now, I didn't know of any figures, but I did put it into the chat, and they suggested that 30 million could be the price tag, or was it 25? No, sorry, it was 25 million for Malen, and I did know it because I read it earlier on. So yeah, 25 million. But I wouldn't worry about losing Bobby Firmino this summer. If it would be the case, I genuinely think it would be at least a year down the line before anything would happen with Firmino. But that's the latest on it, mate. I'm not saying it's happening, but I am saying that there's credibility to the links. I'm a United fan, but I enjoy watching you on That's Football. Thank you very much. I actually recognise you, James Clark, from the comments on That's Football. Thank you very much, mate, for popping over. Please do hit that subscribe button, folks, and drop a little like on the video. I'm absolutely Rixie Rolloxed, as I'd say. I've been just doing stream for the last few days, and tomorrow, thankfully, the only thing I'm going to be doing is the watch-along of the England-Czech Republic game, which I'll be starting at 7:30 here on Anfield Agenda. Jack did a video earlier on with Leon previewing that England game for Boyle Sports, so please do check that one out. Thank you to Jack for getting that done. I couldn't do it because I was on That's Football at the time and the turnover was too quick for me, so thank you to Jack for stepping in. I also put a video out today talking about my thoughts on the transfer window. It's only about 11 and a half minutes long. It's also got the Manscaped ad at the start of it. I know a lot of you guys like the Manscaped ad. It's probably the proudest piece of work that I've put out, along with Connor, who edited it magnificently. I mean, shout out to Connor. I mean, you guys know how well Connor's developed his skills over the last few years. I mean, from where we started to where we are, I mean, I can see how I've developed, but how Connor has developed has been honestly unbelievable. So yeah, if you get a chance, please do watch that video. It went up today. I'll tell you what it's called now so you can go and have a little look at it. What is it called? It's called Malen in, Shaqiri out, Liverpool ideal summer signings. It's up there on the channel, and it does have the Manscaped ad at the start of it. And if you haven't seen our Manscaped ad yet, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good bit of fun. It was received quite well by the folks at Manscaped, so much so that they're going to be the sponsors of our new shows going into the new season. So the Late Night Agenda from August onwards will be brought to you with thanks to Manscaped. So there you go. Not convinced about Malen, but Isaac looks a great prospect. He does look a very good player, Mo, but the only thing that makes me doubt it is I think we'd have to negotiate, and I don't think we'd pay the 70 million for Isaac, the 70 million euro buyout clause that he has in his Real Sociedad contract. Anyone who scores 17 goals for Sociedad in the Liga obviously has something about them, but I think it would be a Michael Edwards masterclass if that was the case, if you get me. And again, for those that were coming in a bit late, I didn't know this, but apparently Donyell Malen used to play for Arsenal at one point. You learn something new every day. Big ups to Connor. I'm convinced Craig is nocturnal. Oh, I absolutely am. I mean, anybody who's on Twitter will regularly see me tweeting at 5 in the morning. I don't go to sleep till about 6 or 7 a.m. and I only get up at about 3:30, and I've been that way for many years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bid you farewell for tonight. I hope to see you tomorrow for the watch along of the England game here on Anfield Agenda from 7:30. Again, if you've got any suggestions for the name of the renaming potentially of Mundo Sporto to the Craig something channel, which won't be football related but will be my thoughts on a whole range of subjects and maybe a podcast as well, please do let me know in the comment section. If I use your suggestion and you're the first one to put it in, I'll send a 50 quid Amazon voucher your way as a little thank you. Look, you guys are amazing. Thank you for everything. I hope you're enjoying the football. I can't wait to get back to talking about Liverpool on a more regular basis. Bring on pre-season, bring on next season, and hopefully a little bit of silverware. Go off into the night, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget, we're all Danish tonight. Big up the Danes. Lots of love. Congratulations on qualifying. I will talk to you soon. Choo choo!